everybody, how's it going? This is Darrin with GuitarControl.com bringing you this video lesson, and today I want to teach you how to play kind of a little bit of a different rendition of Breakdown by Tom Petty. So if you're familiar with this song, the main rhythm of the song is kind of driven by the keyboards. And I used to do this song in a cover band back in the day, and we didn't have a keyboard player, so we just did it completely on guitar. So this is just kind of the rendition of that's the way that we played it that I wanted to show you. So be sure to click on the link in the description for the tabs, and let's get close up and take a look. Alright, so first, just for like the main rhythm of the song that's like the verses and the intro and everything. Chorus is a little bit different, we'll get to that in a minute. We just have two chords. We have A minor and G major. So for this A minor, the A string is open. I'm on the second fret of the D string with my my second finger. I'm on the second fret of the G string with my third finger, and I'm on the first fret of the B string with my first finger, and the A and high E strings are open. And then for G major, my second finger is on the third fret of the low E, my first finger is on the second fret of the A string, the D and G strings are open, I'm on the third fret of the B string with my third finger, and the third fret of the high E with my fourth finger. Alright, so the rhythm for this, we've got a strum of A minor, and then we're going to do that percussive. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm just muting the strings and just strumming them so it makes the, kind of that percussive sound. And then we go to the G, and that's one measure, and that's basically, you just repeat that over and over again for the intro and for the verse. Just like that. And then I also wanted to show you, because there's really not a whole lot to that, but it has all these like kind of cool little melody lines that are being played that I wanted to show you how to do. Alright, so on the intro, so we have like on the first measure, so one measure of this, by the way, is that's one measure. So the second guitar that does the little melody doesn't come in until on the and of 3 in the second measure, or on the 8th fret of the high E with my first finger. And then we're going to just move your first finger from the 8th fret of the E string down to the 8th fret of the B string, and then put your third finger on the 10th fret, and we're going to pick that and do a pull off to that 8 to the 9th fret of the G string. I'm going to use my second finger. So, like I said, this first note is on the and of 3. So if you're like 1, 2, 3, and then for beat 4, it's a triplet. So that's it's the second measure, but it's the first measure of where the second guitar comes in. Then we go back to the 8th fret of the B string, back to the 10th fret, little vibrato, and then back to 8 again. So it's now that, like I said, that's the third measure, and then on the fourth measure we rest. Alright, so guitar 1 is still continuing the, and then we're going to come in with the main kind of, really hooky melody line that's being played over this. So we're going to start here on the 10th fret of the B string. Now typically I'd probably use my first finger to do this, but I sliced it open yesterday, so it's not really working for me. So I'm going to be using my second finger, but more, generally I would use my first. So we're going to start with on the 10th fret of the B string, and we're going to pick that and slide down to 8 and then slide back up to 10. And then to the 9th fret of the G string. So whoops. A little vibrato. And now we're going to do the same, kind of the same idea, but we're going to start here on the 9th fret of the G string, and we're going to slide down to 7 and back up to 9, and then to the 7th fret of the D string. And now we're going to do that same thing on the D string, 7, slide down to 5, back to 7, ending on the 7th fret of the A string. Whoops. So that whole thing. Now that is, like I said, is repeated throughout this. Then you have, after you hit that 7, you have a quarter note rest, and then we're going to come up here to the 5th fret, and you're going to bar your first finger across the first 3 strings. And we're going to strum all 3 together. And then we're going to go to the 8th fret of the B string, a little vibrato, and then to the 5th fret of the high E. So. And then to the 5th fret of the B string, to the 7th fret of the G string. And then it just starts over again, and it's on the second time it's a little different. So the first part's the same. So after we do the little rake, then to the 5th fret of the B string, to the 3rd fret of the G string, a little vibrato, and then we're going to do a pull off on the G string from the 7th to the 5th fret, and then to the 7th fret of the D string, and that's a triplet just like the other thing. And then that's where it leads us into the verse. Alright, so then for the verse, we just have that same rhythm we were doing before. And then that just repeats for a while. And at the end of it, we have an F. So, for this F, I'm barring my first finger across the 1st fret of the high E and B string. I've got my 2nd finger onto the 2nd fret of the G string, and my 3rd finger onto the 3rd fret of the D string. And we strum this as a whole note tied to another whole note. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it goes into another verse, kind of the same thing. And then once we get into the chorus, it changes a little bit. Alright, so for the chorus, we've got that same A minor, same G, same F. So we've got A minor, and then there's a rest. So this is like a quarter note. And then there's a rest, 8th note rest, to a G, and then another rest. So. And then to an F, rest to G, and then another rest, and then it just starts over again. So it repeats that several times. So it repeats that several times, and then when it gets to the last part on that chorus, we have we go back to the F again. So we're like A minor, G, F, G, F, whole note tied to another whole note, and then that's repeated. And then just back into that same rhythm again. So there you have it. You know, like I said, it's kind of a different rendition of Breakdown by Tom Petty. But it's pretty easy to play. It's fun to play. People really dig this song, and then just that little melody line is really nice, especially if you're a beginner and, you know, haven't really learned a lot of lead things. This is a really good one to kind of get your feet wet with it. All right, well, if you like this lesson, be sure to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you have any questions or comments about this or other guitar-related topics. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we upload throughout the week. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.